Simon Fraser Campus Radio.
Would you give me a beat?
CJSF 90.1 FM is the campus radio station for Simon Fraser University, located on Burnaby Mountain in BC, Canada. CJSF 90.1 FM. Diverse, independent, yours. Check us out on SoundCloud or at cjsf.ca.
This is KPW with This Week in BC Minor League Sports here on CGSF 90.1 FM. You can also find us online at www.cgsf.ca and on TELUS HD channel 7014. We're broadcasting from Simon Fraser University in Burnaby, British Columbia. And on today's show, we're going to recap Week 18 of the BC Major Midget League season, as 10 of the 11 teams were in action last weekend in various rinks around the province of British Columbia. Now, we've been recapping a lot of the BC Major Midget League action all season long on this program, and as I've attended many of the Vancouver Northwest Giants games at the Burnaby Winter Club. Last week, though, I changed things up a little bit and I went to a pair of games at the Richmond Oval, a couple of games between the Greater Vancouver Canadians and the visiting Okanagan Rockets, and I skipped the Giants games last weekend, even though they were playing both at home in Burnaby and on the road in Coquitlam. So hey, there you go. Last weekend there were games happening in Burnaby, Coquitlam, Richmond, and even at the Langley Events Center on Sunday morning. So lots of hockey action to check out, and these games are free to attend as well. Now you have to pay to listen to the games or watch them online, but it's free to actually physically go to the rink and check them out. And if you're unfamiliar with the BC Major Midget Hockey League, it's a league of 11 teams of 15 to 17-year-olds playing competitive hockey in the province of British Columbia, and they're just one step below Junior A hockey. And these players, of course, are all hoping to one day, or they're hoping to gradually move up through the junior ranks and perhaps one day play in the National Hockey League. And you never know. You could be watching a future NHL star at your local BC Major Midget League rink. There have been several players over the years that have made it all the way to the NHL. Guys that used to play in the BC Major Midget League, including Brandon Gallagher and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, just to name a couple that I can think of off the top of my head. And in this league, they play 40-game schedules. And we're actually down to the final month of the regular season. Some teams have already played 32 games. Some have only played 28 or 30. So it's down to the final 10 plus so games left in the regular season for all clubs. Now the Caribou Cougars seem to be running away in terms of getting first place. They have or going into last weekend, they had like a 12-point advantage ahead of the second place teams, and but second to sixth are still wide open. At one point, it looked like the Vancouver Northwest Giants were going to get that number 2 spot, but the Okanagan Rockets, the defending champs, took over and looked like they would also get that number 2 position as well. But they've kind of stumbled the last couple of weeks, and it's getting closer in the standings now from number 2 all the way to number 6 as the season is down to its final weeks. Like I said, last Saturday I was at the Richmond Oval to catch the Okanagan Rockets against the Greater Vancouver Canadians, and going in, Okanagan was in 3rd place while Greater Vancouver was in 6th. You would figure, or at least I did, that the Rockets, coming off a loss and a tie the previous weekend against a 4th place Vancouver Northeast Chiefs team, would bounce back and sweep these 2 games against a 6th place team like Greater Vancouver. At least that was my thoughts, going in. And I spoke with Greater Vancouver Canadians broadcaster Steve Erickson just prior to the first game on Saturday, as Erickson does the play-by-play for the Canadians. And he's a kind of an interesting fellow. I see Erickson around all the time when I go to these local events, whether it's at Vancouver Canadians baseball games or at these BC Major Midget League games. He's a fun guy to talk to, lots of insights, and here's what he had to say about the 6th place Greater Vancouver Canadians. So we're talking to Steve Erickson, the broadcaster of the Greater Vancouver Canadians of the BC Major Midget League. Thanks for joining us today, Steve. Thoughts about this Canadians team as you guys are headed for the final stretch of the regular season?
Yeah, final season's coming up, and boy, oh boy, is it ever a push for the Canadians. They've been up and down. Right now they're sitting in 6th place. They're slowly moving up. They've lost a couple of games, no different from other teams. They've lost a couple of games that they clearly should have had in their reach, but just due to penalties, bad timing, undisciplined play, just like other teams as well, they just clearly give the games away, and those are stuff they'd love to have back right now. But they're in the stretch run, and basically, I guess to coin a phrase, they're in control of their own destiny right now.
Now, like you said, they're in control of their own destiny, but tonight and tomorrow they're facing a tough Okanagan team that's battling for second place. What needs to happen for the Canadians to have success against that club?
Well, it's interesting. As we're doing this broadcast, currently the Okanagan Rockets are sitting in 3rd place. They actually dropped down from last week, which is a real shock. They've gone off a little bit of the grid, so to speak. They had a strong season last year. All their players last year got drafted. Some of them moved up. They kept a small little handful. But the Canadians, this could be a real possibility of 2 successful wins, but it all depends which team wants to come out and show up and play hard, play really strong. The one area we're missing, though, is our number 1 goaltender. Tyler Chagru has been out. He's been forced out of the lineup, and I'm assuming it's for the rest of the season. He's got an injury with his knee that basically come to fruition last week in the games against the South Island Royals. So he's out of the lineup. We do have a call-up in the lineup, and tonight we've got Ty Taylor in as the fill-up, and from what I'm told, he could be the one that's filling in. But Palerchal will be starting in goal tonight, and he's going to, I guess for the most part, he'll be carrying us through the rest of the season.
All right, unfortunate break there for Canadians. Up front, in terms of forwards, who are the guys to watch out for on the team?
Strong forwards. Our captain, Wilkinson, he plays hard. He plays really strong. We've got several other players, just to name some. Kyle Yu wearing number 12. He's a real little spark plug. Biggest thing Kyle has going against him is sometimes he's his own worst enemy. He takes bad penalties, bad times, puts the team down. We'll have a penalty we've got the power play, and all of a sudden he'll take the penalty at the wrong time. Another couple of players that we should really look for, Owen Seidel, number 20. He's a real strong player. The other one that's really coming up from what I like and from what I've seen the last little while is Gary Dhaliwal, wearing number 23. He's really strong. The one player I would love to see, I guess I would call him the unsung hero right now, because he's had a strong game, but he's not as consistent as what I would like to see him, and that's number 6, Ante Mastapin. He plays strong. He's a big force on defense, and he really keeps the players to the outside, force them to take the shots, and he's not shy in mixing it up either.
Awesome, Steve. One final question for you is, last weekend they had the showcase weekend here at the Oval. How important is it to have these kind of showcase games for these players?
The showcase weekend, which was the second time they had the BC Showcase down here, ironically at the Richmond Oval, is basically due to travel commitments. It'd be a little tougher cost-wise to take all the teams from here up to Prince George or Kelowna or something like that. So have it centrally located. The showcase weekend, I had a chance to talk to a lot of scouts, and not just scouts in the Western Hockey League, but scouts in the National Hockey League that were here taking the event in. And they clearly, this is the one place where they can get all the players under one umbrella and watch them and put it out, so they can say, okay, this is what we're looking for. They can talk to the players, they can talk to the coaching staff one-on-one, and it's not just a simple fact you can sit and watch one game. There's 2 games going on at the same time, albeit they start at different times, so one might be in the first period, one might be in the second period. But for the scouts, the NHL, the Western Hockey League, and beyond, there's a lot of good potential with that, because I can see nothing but productivity. And the other thing, strangely enough, it might sound really strange, I saw a couple of scouts and universities up here scouting last night from the States,
wow,
too, from last weekend. So that sort of surprised me, especially coming south to the 49. But interesting to see, and I really hope that the BC Major Midget League grows, because when it first started, going back a number of years, there was an awful lot of criticism that they were going to take players away from junior hockey and not develop it the way it is. It's developed, it's growing, it's continuing to grow, and this is going to be a successful season and a successful year, not only this year and beyond, for the BC Major Midget League and BC Hockey down the road.
Awesome. Fantastic insight, Steve Erickson. Good luck today, and hope you will have a good broadcast for the game between the Canadians and the Rockets. All
right. Thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Again, that was Steve Erickson, the play-by-play broadcaster of the Greater Vancouver Canadians. Fantastic insights in terms of the scouts and having conversations with those guys that come in to watch these players, and perhaps even American colleges being interested in these players, perhaps signing them to contracts to play in the States and in collegiate hockey. So very interesting to kind of learn about that aspect of I guess of the league as it's developing. And as Steve Erickson was saying, probably the league is going to continue to grow and develop, and it's good for these players, of course, and as they want to move up, whether it's in junior hockey or potentially playing in collegiate hockey in the States, and perhaps one day making it to the NHL. Who knows? And at least it's going to be a league, the BC Major Midget League, that's going to keep growing. And perhaps I should get Steve Erickson more on this show, but I don't go to the Richmond Oval as much as I do the Burnaby Winter Club. It's just I guess just proximity, but I digress. I mean, I'll have to get him on again next time. Hopefully he's available to do these interviews, because I spoke with him just prior to the opening face-off, and of course he's got messages to check on his phone. He's got to get prepped for the play-by-play broadcast, so it was very nice of him to spend about 5 minutes chatting with me, both on camera and also off camera. We actually spoke for a bit longer, so definitely appreciate his time to give us insights as far as the BC Major Midget League is concerned. Now, I know because every time we run into each other at Nat Bailey Stadium during the summer for baseball, he's got plenty of stories to tell, stories to share, and so on and so forth. But anyway, back to hockey now. On the Okanagan Rockets side, meanwhile, I also spoke with their general manager, David Michaud, to get his thoughts about the matchup with the Canadiens.
We're speaking with David Michaud, the general manager of the Okanagan Rockets. Now, David, thanks for joining us today. You guys are currently in third place right now with 10 games to go. I guess what are the goals for the rest of the season? Like, is it to finish second or possibly first, or what's the deal?
Well, I think Caribou's probably established themselves in first place KP. So for us, obviously you want to finish as high as you can and get some home playoff dates at the Capital News Center, which has been pretty kind to us over the last couple of years. But I think regardless of how it shakes down in the standings, which are very tightly compacted, I mean, not a lot of wiggle room between us and the Chiefs and the Hawks and the Giants and even GBC here this weekend. These are some real big games for our hockey club. So I think what's most important down the stretch here in these last 10 games is just playing hockey the right way, getting into the playoffs and establishing the things we want to do to be successful in the playoffs. And if in the process in doing that we can secure second spot or third spot and get some home ice advantage, then we'll take it.
Now, I understand that the Canadiens, they have lost their goaltender Tyler Sugar, so they have the backup in goal for the weekend. Having said that, what needs to happen for the Rockets in order to take potentially 4 points away from these Canadiens?
Well, for us, we just need to simplify our game a little bit. I thought last weekend against the Chiefs, we got into a little bit of a run-and-gun style in that 6-6 game, and that's not really going to be our identity. That's not how we're going to have success. So we need to find a way to simplify things a little bit. If we could get some pucks in on Mateo and maybe rattle him a little bit, then that'll certainly help us, knowing that with the AP goalie, they're not likely to turn to him. So it puts some pressure on the young fella, but in saying that, he's a great goaltender, so I'm sure we got our work cut out for us regardless.
Now, I'm going to ask you this as well, David. I've seen the Rockets play now a few times this season, and you guys are wearing the red jerseys this year. They're not just third jerseys, I guess. No. What happened to the dark ones?
The black ones, we sent them away for a little while. We'll see. We might bring them back one day, but the Kelowna Rockets for a lot of years have worn a red third jersey, and we wanted to model one of our jerseys after that. They won a Memorial Cup. Our head coach Simon Ferguson won a Memorial Cup wearing that red jersey, so we wanted to make him feel at home in his first season with us.
All right, fantastic story. Thanks so much, David. Good luck this weekend against the Canadiens.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, that final question I had for David Michaud was regarding the jerseys, because this season, every time I've seen the Rockets, because obviously I don't go to their hometown to watch them play. I only watch them when they're here in the Lower Mainland, and they're obviously the visiting team always, and they're wearing these red jerseys. And the first time I saw those red jerseys, I thought that they were just like alternate jerseys, but then this was like the third or fourth time I've seen them wearing red. So I was a bit curious about that, because last season they wore black jerseys. So I kind of want to throw that question at him just to see what he had to say, and I guess I got my answer. Yeah, that interview with David Michaud, again, the general manager of the Okanagan Rockets, it took place during the first intermission when the game was still scoreless. I don't know if it's me or something, but maybe I jinxed that team. I remember a few weeks back at the Burnaby Winter Club, I also interviewed David Michaud during the first intermission, and the Rockets went on to lose that game by 1 goal, I believe, that night against the Giants. This time on Saturday, after our interview, the Rockets did score twice in the late stages of the second period to go up 2-0. The Rockets goaltender was playing well, and as you heard from the interview with Steve Erickson earlier, the Canadiens goaltending situation seemed to be a mess with the season-ending injury, we think, for number one guy Tyler Sugaru. I even gave Erickson the okay side at the second intermission to tell him, hey, Okanagan was going to get that shutout. But somehow the Canadiens bounced back and scored 2 goals in the final 20 minutes, and the game actually ended in a 2-2 tie. And it was a Rockets' second straight tie because they also got a 6-6 draw in the last game the week before, something that you probably heard during the interview with David Michaud earlier. Do you figure, the Rockets, having blown the first game, they would come back the following morning on Sunday and perhaps salvage the second contest? And the Rockets took 3 different leads in the game, getting ahead 1-0, 2-1, and then 3-2 after 2 periods. But for the second straight game, the Greater Vancouver Canadiens bounced back with a strong third period. This time, they scored 4 straight goals in the final 20 minutes, including 2 goals by number 23, Gary Dhaliwal. And the Greater Vancouver Canadiens went on to stun the Okanagan Rockets by a score of 6-4. So it was, I guess, kind of surprised because going in, I thought that the Rockets would win both games, but seeing that they were perhaps desperate as a number 3 team, trying to get that second place in the standings, and they were facing a 6th place club, the Greater Vancouver Canadiens, but it was actually the Canadiens getting a tie and a win to take 3 points from this weekend. And here was one of the heroes of the Canadiens on Sunday, and that's for Gary Dhaliwal. Again, he scored 2 goals in the third period on Sunday's game to help the Canadiens to the victory.
We're speaking with Gary Dhaliwal of the Greater Vancouver Canadiens. An exciting 6-4 win today against Okanagan, and you had 2 big goals in the third period. Thoughts about the game?
Yeah, we went into the third there down a goal, and we knew we were going to have to come back, and everybody put in a full effort, and we got the comeback there.
Now, this is like the second consecutive comeback for you guys against that tough Okanagan team. Saturday, you guys were down 2-0 after 2, and today down 3-2 after the second. How important was it to get 3 points out of the possible 4 from these guys?
Yeah, it was we were facing a mountain with a comeback there, and all the boys bought in, and it was a big 3 points for us this weekend that we needed.
Now, about yourself, Gary, thoughts about your own season so far?
Yeah, I feel like I've been playing well this year, getting a lot of opportunity here with Coach Phil and Mike, and always areas to improve. I'd like to get bigger, faster, stronger, all that.
Right, and obviously the goal for this year, for the team-wise, is do on the playoffs. What about you personally? What are your goals for next season?
Well, next year I'd like to play Junior A somewhere around, and right now we're just focused on our team and our upcoming playoffs here.
And Gary, who's your favorite NHL player and why?
I'd probably have to say Jonathan Toews, just because he plays a really good two-way game, just as good defensively as he does offensively.
Excellent. Thanks, Gary Dhaliwal of the Greater Vancouver Canadiens. Again, once again, congratulations on getting 2 big goals today to beat the Okanagan Rockets 6-4.
Thank you.
You're listening to This Week in BC Minor League Sports. My name is KP Wee. As we recap the action from the BC Major Midget League right here on CGS 90.1 FM. A shocker on Sunday afternoon with the first place Caribou Cougars losing 7-5 to the Kootenay Ice as those two teams split their weekend series. Going in, the Kootenay Ice had only 4 victories in 31 games, and as for Caribou, they've now lost 2 of the last 4 games. So kind of a surprise, especially losing to the Kootenay Ice team, like I said, that had only 4 wins this season. A couple of barn burners in the Giants Vancouver Northeast Chiefs series. On Saturday, I should say, the Chiefs scored with under 5 minutes left to tie the game, and the two teams battled to a 7-7 tie. This is the second straight tie for the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs. The previous game, they had a 6-6 draw against Okanagan, and now 7-7 against the Vancouver Northwest Giants. So a couple of entertaining games back and forth for the Chiefs, who are trying to make a statement that they can compete with the big boys of the league, having ties against both the Rockets and the Giants in back-to-back games. So that was a Saturday game this past weekend. Then on Sunday, Giants captain Keegan Jones scored his 19th goal of the season, 41 seconds in the third period, and they added an empty net goal at the end there. Keegan Jones's goal proved to be a game winner as the Giants won 5-3. It was Jones's eighth goal, I should say, in his last 6 games. He's also got 6 goals in the last 3 games. But again, the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs battling a team like the Giants right till the end there, losing essentially a 1-goal game because the final score 5-3. That 5th goal was an empty net goal. So again, the Chiefs have been making some noise, getting into these high scoring close games against some tough teams in the league. As for the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds against the Valley West Hawks, on Sunday it was the Hawks that scored with 4.2 seconds left to break a tie, and they beat Fraser Valley 7-6. The Hawks also scored 5 goals in the second period of that one, so another high scoring affair, and again, just a heartbreaker for the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds as they lose the game with 4.2 seconds to go. Time for some public service announcements. Calling all builders at the Tommy Douglas branch of the Burnaby Public Library. Kids ages 5 to 12 are invited to drop in anytime between 3:30 and 5:30 on Friday, February the 13th, to play with the library's extensive Lego collection. Moms and dads can join in as well, and caregivers are required to accompany children 10 and under. No registration is required. Again, for more information, you can visit the Burnaby Public Library. The website is bpl.bc.ca. That's bpl.bc.ca, and again, that is Friday, February the 13th, between 3:30 and 5:30. It's just a drop-in session. Kids ages 5 to 12 are welcome. Also at the Tommy Douglas branch, there's Thursday night knit-togethers from 6:30 to 8:45 p.m. and this runs every week, every Thursday night until May the 28th. So come and enjoy a couple of hours of knitting and stitching and chatting with like-minded people. This is an informal, friendly group, and everyone is welcome, all ages and skill levels. Bring your own supplies, I guess the supplies for knitting, because only a limited number of needles and yarn is available for those who want to give knitting a try. The tea will be provided and feel free to bring cookies and little snacks to share if you wish, but that's optional. Knit Together is a free event and registration is not required. Again, this is every Thursday night from 6:30 to 8:45 p.m. Running until May the 28th. And for more information, again, you can visit the Burnaby Public Library website at bpl.bc.ca. That's bpl.bc.ca, and they do have quite a few interesting events happening year round. Of course, I mentioned about the Lego activity for kids. That actually happens like once a month kind of thing, and that's again coming up February the 13th. And there's also the knit togethers as well. There's also other kind of events targeted for parents with toddlers, and also for high school kids in terms of like reading stories, sharing stories, and all of that. There's also if you are a recent immigrant, there's also like some classes for free as well. And also people helping with resume writing, cover letters, all kinds of stuff that's happening year round. You just have to kind of pay attention to the calendar that's posted on the Burnaby Public Library website. And obviously, with I focus only on the Burnaby Public Library because that's the local. Those would be the local branches here in Burnaby. But if you check out like the Vancouver Public Library or even the Richmond Public Library, you'll see oftentimes like many of these types of free events in terms of whether it's resume workshops or like public speaking workshops, or like I said, for events for parents as well. There's all kinds of things that are happening. So in case you are interested in these weekly or monthly activities, feel free to check out their websites and just go to the events that you are interested in. Now, for some of these events or activities, you don't need to sign up or register, but for others you do have to. So just have to be careful, and if those events, if there are certain events that need registration, just make sure you do so ahead of time. Otherwise, they might get filled up, that kind of thing. I know the last one I went to, or the last event I went to that was interesting or relevant for me, was a writer's workshop. That was last year, that was last year, and it was out in Richmond. It didn't help me personally, but I think like the guest speaker that was there, he did a great job sharing his experience and his insights. So oftentimes you can perhaps learn a few things by going to these workshops, or just having fun, whatever the case may be, and. So definitely lots of things to check out if you are interested in these kinds of free events, of course. All right, so now time to get back to our show here. Our athlete of the week on this week's program is none other than Gary Dhaliwal, number 23 of the Greater Vancouver Canadians. He scored 2 goals in the third period on Sunday against the defending league champion Okanagan Rockets to help the Greater Vancouver Canadians to a come-from-behind 6-4 victory. And for his efforts, Gary Dhaliwal is our athlete of the week. And I would guess runner-up would be Keegan Jones, the captain of the Vancouver Northwest Giants. He scored a game winner on Sunday as well, and now has 6 goals in the last 3 games. Just crazy on a hot streak there. But so Gary Dhaliwal and as the athlete of the week, and number 2 would be Keegan Jones. And again, lots of these great games to check out if you're in the BC Lower Mainland. And obviously, for more information about the BC Major Midget Hockey League, including scores and standings as well as upcoming games, please visit the league website at www.bcmml.net. That's www.bcmml.net. We can also email them at midgethockey@bchockey.net. That's email address midgethockey@bchockey.net. You've been listening to This Week in BC Minor League Sports here on CGS 90.1 FM. My name's KP Wee, and that's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you again next time.
You never know what they're going to say.
I just want your lips all up on my face like a cephalopod sometimes suckers itself to a scuba diver's mouth.
Because they're poets.
My grandma got love. Not for this world, though. But hey, my grandma lived in any world she want.
But you can find out every Saturday night at 9:30 on Shout, Clap, Slam, live from the Vancouver Poetry Slam.
We spoil music for everyone.
Right here on CJSF 90.1 FM.
I'm Jamie Sesford, and this is your CGSF Arts Report for the week of February 1st, 2014. The Astoria brings together some of the most exciting bands from around Vancouver at their Weekend Bender Festival, running from February 5th to 8th. Featuring bands like Sightlines, Girlfriends and Boyfriends, Coban, Watermelon, The Jolts, and many more, this is guaranteed to be one epic party. Tickets available at Scrape, Red Cat, Horses, The Astoria, and Northern Tickets. Radio Javin proudly presents annual Vancouver party featuring Radio Javin resident DJs DJ Mosen, DJ Delbar, and DJ Tabba. Shows at Harbor Events Center at 10 p.m. Saturday, February 7th. Tickets range from $22 to $42. For more information, go to radiojavin.com.
North Vancouver Community Arts Council presents Gigami. Growing up in Vancouver, spending a fair amount of time in Europe and the Vancouver School of Art, Gigami incorporates vibrant colors, loose strokes, shapes, and layers that embody the traditions and myths of his culture. He's going to show you the different amazing art with his playful and explorative approach to practice. This 2-month exhibition is held at the District Library Gallery. Go to nvartscouncil.ca for more details.
For CJSF, I'm Jamie Sessley.
You are listening to CJSF 90.1.